On the planet Vartara, the skies were a deep shade of gray. Dark clouds hung heavy, casting shadows over the land. Once a beautiful world filled with vibrant colors and life, Vartara was now a place of fear. The Zarkons, a powerful and cruel alien race, had invaded. They came with massive ships and weapons that could destroy entire cities in minutes. The people of Vartara watched in despair as their homes were torn apart. Zara stood on the balcony of her small home, looking out at the destruction. She was the leader of the resistance, a group of brave individuals who refused to give up. Her heart ached as she saw the smoke rising from the nearby village. Families were losing everything. Zara turned away, wiping away a tear. She knew she had to do something. "Zara!" Kian called, rushing up the stairs. His face was filled with urgency. "We need to act fast. The Zarkons are planning another attack." Zara nodded, her mind racing. "We can't keep fighting alone. We need help. But who will come to our aid?" Kian took a deep breath. "Maybe we can reach out to other planets. Someone might listen." "We have to try," Zara thought for a moment. Sending a message into space was a risky move, but they had no other choice. "Let's do it," she said with determination. "We'll send a distress signal. If there's even a small chance someone will respond, we must take it." The two friends hurried to the resistance base. It was a hidden place, filled with people ready to fight for their home. Inside, they found the communication room, filled with old machines and blinking lights. Zara and Kian worked quickly, setting up the equipment. Zara's hands trembled as she prepared to send the message. "Are you ready?" Kian asked, his eyes wide with anticipation. "Yes," Zara replied, her voice steady. "Let's hope someone hears us." Zara pressed the button, and the machine whirred to life. "To anyone who can hear this," she began, her voice echoing in the room. "We are the people of Vartara. We are under attack from the Zarkons. We are desperate for help. Please, if you can assist us, we need you now." The message shot into the vastness of space, a small beacon of hope in a dark universe. Zara felt a mix of fear and excitement. What if no one answered? What if help came too late? As the days passed, Zara and her people prepared for the worst. They trained hard, practicing their fighting skills and using what little resources they had left. The Zarkons attacked again, destroying more homes and capturing more people. Zara felt the weight of their desperation. Each attack made her more determined to find help. One evening, while Zara was on guard duty, she spotted a bright light in the sky. Her heart raced as the light grew larger and closer. It was unlike anything she had seen before. "Kian, come quickly!" she shouted, her voice filled with excitement. Kian ran to her side, his eyes wide. "What is it?" "Look!" Zara pointed to the sky. The light transformed into a large shape, a spaceship. It was coming down fast, and it was heading straight for Vartara. "What if it's the Zarkons?" Kian asked, fear creeping into his voice. Zara shook her head. "No, I don't think so. It could be our help." As the spaceship landed, a sense of hope flooded Zara's heart. She couldn't wait to see who would emerge. The resistance gathered around, eyes fixed on the ship. Would they finally be saved? Zara held her breath, praying that this was the answer they had been waiting for. She thought of her people, suffering and afraid. Maybe, just maybe, they would find a way to fight back together. The door of the spaceship opened and a ramp extended. Shadows moved inside, and Zara felt a surge of anticipation. Whatever happened next, she knew their desperate call for help had brought something new to Vartara. As the ramp of the spaceship lowered, a group of figures stepped out, silhouetted against the bright light. Zara's heart raced. Who were these newcomers? Were they friends or foes? The crowd around her murmured in nervous anticipation, each person hoping for salvation. The first figure to emerge was tall and strong, dressed in a sleek, shining suit. His hair was short, and his face showed confidence. "I am Captain Mitchell of the United Earth Fleet," he declared, his voice booming. "We received your distress signal and came as fast as we could." Cheers erupted from the crowd. Zara felt a rush of hope. These were humans, and they had come to help. "Thank you. Thank you," Zara called, stepping forward. "We are so grateful you are here. We are fighting against the Zarkons who are attacking our planet." Captain Mitchell nodded, his expression serious. "We've heard of the Zarkons. They are dangerous and we need to act quickly. But first, we must understand the situation here." Zara introduced herself and explained the ongoing struggle against the Zarkons. She described how they had lost many homes and how their people were scared. The captain listened intently, his brow furrowing as he took in the details. "I understand," he said finally. "We will work together. But we need to see what we're up against." Zara led Captain Mitchell and his crew through the ruins of their village. They walked past the remnants of homes, some still smoldering. The humans looked around with wide eyes, taking in the destruction. Zara felt a mix of sadness and anger. It was hard to show them her people's pain. "Stay close," Kian whispered to Zara as they approached the edge of the village. The Zarkons could come back at any moment. The group reached a clearing where Zara and Kian had set up a temporary base for the resistance. It was small and cramped, but it was filled with determination. The humans began to mingle with the Vartaran fighters, sharing stories and ideas. As the sun set, casting an orange glow over the planet, Captain Mitchell gathered everyone. "Listen up! We need to plan our attack against the Zarkons. We have advanced technology and training that can help you fight back. Together we can turn the tide." Zara watched as the humans shared their weapons and tools. They were unlike anything she had ever seen, sleek and efficient. She felt a surge of excitement. "Maybe they could finally win." "Let's split into teams," Captain Mitchell continued. "Some of us will train the resistance fighters, while others will scout for Zarkon patrols." Zara and Kian volunteered to help with the training. They watched as the humans demonstrated how to use their weapons. At first, the Vartaran fighters struggled to keep up, but soon they began to grasp the basics. "Great job, everyone," Captain Mitchell encouraged. "Keep practicing, and we will make you a force to be reckoned with." As the days passed, Zara grew closer to the humans. She found herself drawn to Captain Mitchell. His strength and kindness inspired her. They shared laughs, and Zara felt a connection that she had never experienced before. But their bond was tested when a Zarkon ship appeared in the sky. Zara's heart sank as she realized that the Zarkons had discovered the humans. "Prepare for battle!" she shouted, her voice steady. The resistance fighters quickly took their positions, remembering what they had learned from the humans. Captain Mitchell moved to Zara's side. "We're ready. Stay focused. We can do this!" The Zarkon ship hovered above, its dark silhouette blocking out the stars. Suddenly, beams of light shot down, striking the ground. The battle was upon them. Zara felt fear, but also courage. She glanced at Kian, who nodded back at her. They had come too far to give up now. As the Zarkons descended, Zara shouted, "For Vartara!" Together, humans and Vartaran fighters stood united, ready to face their enemy. This was their moment to fight back, and Zara knew that with the humans by their side, they had a chance to save their home. The Zarkon ship loomed ominously above the village, casting a shadow over the gathering crowd. Zara's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the enemy's dark shape against the night sky. The resistance fighters stood in formation, weapons ready, side by side with their new human allies. The air was thick with tension. This battle would determine the fate of Vartara. "Stay calm!" Captain Mitchell shouted, his voice strong and steady. "We've trained for this. Remember what we practiced." Zara felt a surge of determination. She glanced at Kian, who was gripping his weapon tightly. They had worked so hard to prepare for this moment. The humans had taught them to fight, to stand tall against the Zarkons. Now it was time to show their strength. The Zarkons descended quickly, their ships emitting a low hum. As the dark figures emerged, Zara could see their armor glinting in the faint light. They moved with a menacing confidence. The sight sent shivers down her spine, but she refused to back down. "Ready?" Zara called, raising her weapon. "For Vartara!" The fighters echoed her battle cry, their voices blending into a chorus of defiance. The first blast from the Zarkon ship lit up the night sky, striking the ground near the edge of the village. Dust and debris flew everywhere. Zara barely ducked in time, her heart racing. "We can't let them intimidate us," she yelled. "Fight back!" With a newfound sense of bravery, the resistance fighters and humans opened fire. Zara aimed carefully, pulling the trigger. The bright beam shot out, hitting a Zarkon soldier squarely in the chest. The alien fell, and Zara felt a rush of adrenaline. They were fighting back! Captain Mitchell coordinated the defense with precision. He moved among the fighters, shouting orders and encouraging them. "Focus on their numbers! We need to keep pushing forward!" As the battle raged on, Zara saw her friends fighting bravely. Kian took down one Zarkon after another, showing remarkable skill. It filled Zara with hope to see their hard work paying off. But just as the tide seemed to turn, A larger Zarkon ship arrived, hovering menacingly above. It was bigger and armed with powerful weapons. Zara's heart sank as she realized the situation was getting worse. "We need to regroup," Captain Mitchell shouted, and the fighters began to fall back, trying to find cover. "Zara, lead your people to safety." Zara nodded, her mind racing. She couldn't let fear control her. "Follow me," she called, guiding her fighters toward a nearby hill that provided some cover. As they climbed, Zara glanced back at the battle. The Zarkons were relentless, their attacks increasing. The humans were fighting valiantly, but the new ship's weapons were devastating. "We can't let this be the end," Zara shouted to her fighters, her voice filled with fire. "We need to find a way to disable that ship." Kian caught up with her, breathless but determined. "What do you have in mind?" Zara thought quickly. "If we can reach the old communication tower, we might be able to use its systems to send a signal to the humans in space. They could target the Zarkon ship from above." "Great idea," Kian replied. "Let's move." The fighters hurried toward the tower, dodging blasts from above. With each step, Zara felt a mix of fear and hope. They were still in danger, but she knew they had to try. As they reached the tower, Zara and Kian quickly climbed the stairs. The air was filled with the sounds of battle below, but they had no time to waste. Zara activated the old communication system, praying it still worked. "Come on!" she urged, her fingers flying over the controls. The screen flickered to life, revealing the vastness of space. Zara sent out a message, a desperate plea for help. "This is Zara of Vartara. We are under attack. We need support against the Zarkons." Just as she finished, the tower shook violently. The Zarkons were closing in, but Zara refused to back down. "Keep fighting!" she shouted to her friends below. In that moment of desperation, she felt a flicker of hope. The humans were fighting for her planet, and they were not alone. Together, they could turn the tide of this battle. The sun rose over Vartara, casting a warm glow on the training grounds. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter and shouts as humans and Vartaran fighters trained side by side. After their desperate call for help and the fierce battle against the Zarkons, hope had begun to blossom. Zara stood at the center of the training area, her heart swelling with pride. The humans had brought with them not just weapons, but also knowledge. They taught the Vartaran fighters advanced tactics and techniques that seemed impossible just days before. "Today, we focus on teamwork," Captain Mitchell announced, his voice carrying over the excited chatter. "We have to learn how to fight as one unit. Trust each other and you'll be unstoppable." Zara exchanged glances with Kian, her friend and fellow fighter. His eyes sparkled with determination. "This is it," he said, clenching his fists. "We're going to show the Zarkons what we can do." The first exercise was a simple drill. Pairs of fighters would take turns practicing their shooting skills. Zara teamed up with a human named Sarah, who had a bright smile and an easygoing attitude. "Just aim and pull the trigger," Sarah said, demonstrating how to hold the weapon. "You've got this." Zara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the weapon in her hands. "Okay, I'll try." She aimed at a distant target and squeezed the trigger. The shot rang out, hitting the target squarely in the center. "Great job!" Sarah cheered, clapping her hands. "Now let's work on our timing. We need to shoot together." As the drills continued, Zara noticed the growing bond between the fighters. Laughter filled the air as they shared tips and stories. The humans respected the Vartaran fighters and admired their spirit. In turn, the Vartaran fighters were amazed by the humans' skills and bravery. After a few hours, Captain Mitchell called for everyone's attention. "Now that we've practiced, let's try a simulated mission. This will help you think on your feet." The fighters gathered around, their eyes shining with excitement. Zara felt a thrill run through her. This was what they had been waiting for, a chance to prove themselves. "Imagine you're on a Zarkon ship," Captain Mitchell explained. "You need to disable their systems before they can attack. Work together, communicate, and adapt." Zara partnered with Kian again, and they quickly formulated a plan. "I'll distract the guards while you take out the control panel," Kian suggested. "Perfect," Zara replied. "And if anything goes wrong, we'll cover each other." The simulation began, and Zara felt the adrenaline rush through her veins. She moved silently, her heart pounding. Kian moved beside her, his eyes alert. They crept toward the mock control panel, the fake Zarkon guards looming ahead. "Go!" Zara whispered, darting forward to grab the attention of the guards. "Hey, over here!" The guards turned, surprised. Kian slipped behind them, quickly disabling the control panel with a swift motion. The sound of beeping alarms filled the air, but Zara didn't falter. She took down the guards one by one, her movements becoming more confident with each victory. "Nice work," Kian shouted, a grin plastered on his face as he rejoined her. "We did it!" As they exited the simulation, the trainers clapped and cheered. Captain Mitchell beamed with pride. "You've all done an amazing job. Keep this up and we'll be ready for the Zarkons." Zara felt a wave of satisfaction wash over her. They had trained hard and their teamwork had paid off. She looked around at the faces of her friends, both human and Vartaran. They were no longer just allies, they were a family united by a common goal. As the sun began to set, the fighters gathered around a small fire. They shared stories of their homes, their dreams, and their fears. Zara listened intently as Sarah talked about her life on Earth, filled with adventures and challenges. "You know," Sarah said, her eyes shining, "I never expected to be here, helping you all. But now, I feel like I'm part of something bigger." Zara nodded, her heart full. "We're stronger together. You've shown us how to fight, but you've also shown us how to believe in ourselves." As the fire crackled, Zara felt a deep sense of hope. They were no longer just fighting for survival, they were fighting for a future. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. With humans and Vartaran fighters training together, they would face the Zarkons head-on, ready to protect their home. The dawn of a new day broke over Vartara, bathing the land in golden light. Zara stood at the training grounds, surrounded by her friends and allies. The air buzzed with excitement as they prepared for the final training session before the impending battle against the Zarkons. Everyone could feel the energy. This was their moment to shine. Captain Mitchell gathered everyone together, his face serious yet hopeful. "Today we solidify what we've learned," he announced, his voice steady. "This is not just about fighting, it's about our unity. Together we can achieve the impossible." Zara glanced around at her fellow fighters. They were ready. A mix of humans and Vartaran fighters, all determined to protect their home. She felt a wave of pride wash over her. They had come so far since the day they had called for help. Now they were more than just allies, they were family. The training session began with a series of drills, focusing on teamwork and communication. As they practiced their maneuvers, Zara felt her confidence grow. Kian was beside her, and they moved in perfect sync, anticipating each other's moves. The bond they had formed made them stronger, both as individuals and as a team. "Remember, it's not just about individual skills," Captain Mitchell reminded them. "It's about supporting one another. Look out for each other and you'll be unstoppable." The day flew by, and as the sun began to set, Captain Mitchell gathered everyone again. "I want to thank you all for your hard work. We've trained hard, and I believe in each and every one of you. When we face the Zarkons, we will fight not just for our survival, but for a brighter future for Vartara." Zara felt a spark of hope ignite within her. She envisioned a future where their world was free from the threat of the Zarkons. "We can do this," she whispered to Kian, who nodded in agreement. That evening, as the stars twinkled above, the fighters gathered around a large bonfire. They shared stories, laughter, and hopes for what was to come. Zara listened as Sarah talked about her plans to explore Vartara's beautiful landscapes once the fighting was over. "I want to see the crystal caves and the floating islands," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. Zara smiled. "You should definitely see the crystal caves. They're breathtaking, and we'll all explore together. This place has so much to offer." As the fire crackled, Zara felt a sense of belonging wash over her. She was no longer just a girl fighting for her planet, she was part of something greater. They were building a future together, one that was bright and full of promise. The next day arrived, bringing with it the day of the battle. Zara and the others stood ready, their hearts pounding with anticipation. They had prepared as best as they could, and now it was time to face the Zarkons head-on. As they approached the battlefield, Zara looked at her friends and allies. "No matter what happens, we fight together," she shouted, her voice ringing with determination. "For Vartara! For Vartara!" They echoed, their voices strong and united. The battle began with an intense clash. Zara moved with purpose, her heart racing as she fought alongside her friends. Kian was at her side, and together they faced the Zarkons with bravery and strength. The humans' training had made a significant difference. They worked seamlessly together, covering each other's backs and outsmarting their enemies. Just as it seemed the tide was turning in their favor, a familiar dark ship appeared overhead, the larger Zarkon ship that had haunted their dreams. Zara's stomach dropped. This was the moment they had prepared for, but the fear still crept in. "Stay focused!" Captain Mitchell shouted, rallying the fighters. "We can't let them intimidate us." With renewed strength, Zara pushed forward. She remembered all the hard work, all the training, and the friendships they had built. They were fighting not just for their survival, but for their future. As the battle raged on, Zara spotted a group of Zarkon soldiers trying to flank them. "Over there!" she yelled to Kian, who nodded and sprinted beside her. They quickly devised a plan to counter the attack. The moment of truth had come. Zara felt the heat of the battle around her, but she remained focused. They moved as one unit, and with a powerful combination of their skills, they overcame the Zarkons. As the dust settled, Zara looked around at her friends. They had won this battle together, proving that unity could conquer fear. The future of Artara was brighter than ever. They had fought not just for today, but for all the tomorrows to come. In that moment of victory, Zara knew they could build a new world, one filled with hope, friendship, and endless possibilities.